The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Welcome back, children. So how are you all? Are you all drinking enough water? Summer is fastly approaching us. So take care of yourself. Drink lots of water. Include fruits in your diet. Okay? And don't forget to update your lessons too. Whatever we teachers teach, should reach you, right? And how will we know that whether it is reaching you or not? Yes, by updating your files and reading the lessons properly, understanding the concept, all these will make us happy, right? Ultimately, the lessons or the concepts we teach must reach you, right? Or else what happens when you move to the higher class, you won't understand the basics. Okay, children? Now shall we move to our chapter? What were we discussing in our last class? So children, in our previous class we studied what is a molecule. What is a molecule? Molecule is the smallest part of any substance which retains all the properties of the original substance. So whatever we see in this universe, it are all made up of small molecules of their own matter. Okay? So we studied what is a molecule. After molecule, we saw what is pure substance and what are mixtures. What is a pure substance? If a substance is made up of only one type of molecule, then it is a pure substance. For example, water, table salt, common salt. Okay? All these are pure substance because water is made up of only water molecule. Whereas salt, common salt, that is also made up of only salt molecules. So it is a pure substance. Then what are mixtures? Molecules are classified into pure substance and mixtures. What are mixtures? Mixtures are made up of more than one type of molecules, right? For example, sugar solution. What happens to sugar solution? Two types of molecules are there, water molecule and sugar molecule. So it is a mixture. So like that we saw many examples for mixtures. In mixtures we studied what are homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. What are homogeneous mixtures? When the solute is equally distributed in the solvent, it is called a homogeneous solution. We saw many examples for homogeneous solution. All the pure substance forms homogeneous solutions. For example, salt solution, sugar solution, for example, salt solution, sugar solution, copper sulfate solution, all these are homogeneous solution. Then what are heterogeneous solutions? Yes, when the solute is unevenly distributed in the solvent. എല്ലാവരുടെയും തരിതരിയായി കിടക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ആ solution heterogeneous solutions, isn't it? So we saw many examples. What were they? Karingani vellam, kanji vellam, rice gruel. Okay, then what all did we see? Sambaram and the daily curries we take, sambar, avial. These are all heterogeneous mixtures, right? Because all the particles are unevenly distributed in the solution. So these are heterogeneous solution. We discussed about lime juice also. Lime juice can be homogeneous and heterogeneous. When unfiltered, lime juice is heterogeneous, but when filtered, lime juice is homogeneous. Okay? In today's class, we will discuss about solutions. Well, homogeneous solutions and heterogeneous solution, they will make up solutions. What are solutions? Yes, you have studied in 5th standard. Solutions are formed when a solute is dissolved in a solvent. How do you get a solution? When any solute is dissolved in a solvent, you get a solution. For example, salt, water. When salt is dissolved in water, this is salt, this is water. So here salt is the solute, water is the solvent, and this salt water is the solution. So I hope it is clear what is a solute, what is a solvent, and what is a solution. Okay, so this is salt water. In the salt water, salt is the solute, water is the solvent, and this salt water, when it is stirred well and the salt dissolves completely in water, we get salt solution. So that will be called as solution. Okay, now we will move to solutions. What are solutions? We should make a note of the different states of the solute and the solvent. For example, what are the 3 different states? Yes, you know, right? Solid, liquid, gas. In this salt solution, salt is solid, solvent is liquid, right? So you are dissolving solid in a liquid solvent, right? The solute is a solid and the solvent is a liquid. So we can write like this. Solid is dissolved in liquid, right? Solid solute is dissolved in liquid solvent. So you can make note of the states here. The state is solid and the solvent is liquid. Okay. So does it happen, always happen like this? Only solid solutes are dissolved in liquid solvent. Won't it happen the other way? Does gas dissolve in water or liquid? Does any gas dissolve in liquid or in a, does any liquid dissolve in a liquid? That is why we are going to study about the different solutions. We will see the textbook. See, in your textbook, there is a table given. Solution, brass is a solution. Okay. Constituent particles, what are the constituent particles? Zinc and copper. Soda is a solution there. And what are the constituent particles? Water and carbon dioxide. Make note of it, children. Water is a liquid and carbon dioxide is a gas. So gas can also be used as a solute. Glycerin dissolved in water. So look at the constituent particles. Glycerin is a liquid. Water is also a liquid. So here liquid is dissolved in liquid. You are getting solution like that. So air is also a solution. Very surprising, right? See, look at the constituent particles. Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor. So look at all the different particles. Nitrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas, carbon dioxide, water vapor, all these are gases. They are getting mixed with gas. Gas is dissolved in gas. So here the solvent is a gas and the solute is also a gas. Okay. So now we are going to write it down in the textbook itself. So hold a pencil with you. We are going to make note of all these in the textbook. Don't write this in the file. Okay. Now first one they have given, brass. Here look at the constituent particles, zinc and copper, both are solid. So solid is dissolved in solid. Likewise, next we will write soda. In soda, gas is dissolved in liquid. Carbon dioxide is a gas. So carbon dioxide is dissolved in water. So what should you write? Gas dissolved in liquid. The third one, glycerin dissolved in water. Glycerin is liquid, water is also liquid. So liquid dissolved in liquid. Note it down, children. The last one, air, as I said earlier, gas dissolved in gas. So all these are solutions. The solutions are formed not only by dissolving solid in liquid. it can be formed even if liquid is dissolved in liquid or gas is dissolved in gas. All the three states exist in solutions. Okay children, so is it clear? So how will we ask questions for exam? For example, last year the questions were asked like this. Give an example for a solution where gas is dissolved in gas. So what will you write? Of course it is air, isn't it? Where nitrogen, oxygen, everything is dissolved in water vapor. One more question they might ask. Give an example for a solution where liquid is dissolved in, yes, liquid. So what will you write? Glycerin, water, where glycerin is dissolved in water. Okay? So I hope you can write all these questions. Now we will take two solutions as shown in your textbook. Take 2 glasses, fill it with water. 1 glass you add 1 spoon of salt. In the second glass you add a handful of mud. Now use a spoon and stir both the glasses. In the first glass you have added salt. So when you stir, what happens? The salt dissolves. In the second glass you have added handful of mud. So when you stir well with a spoon, will it dissolve? Tell me children, will it dissolve? No. The water becomes muddy, right? It becomes dirty, but the mud doesn't dissolve. Hard particles or heavy particles will settle down. The smaller particles will be going around in the liquid, right? You can do this experiment at home, okay? So what happens here? Salt, it dissolves and it forms a solution, whereas mud, yes, it is a solution, but the mud particles are not dissolved. Okay, no problem. Now, children, is it possible to separate these particles now? What did you add in the first glass? Salt and water. Now, can you separate? It has completely dissolved. Can you separate salt from water? Is it possible? And likewise, in the second glass, since it has not dissolved, now it is easy for us to separate the mud from water. How is it possible? How will you separate mud from water? Very easy. You can use a sieve. So if you use a sieve, you can easily filter out the muddy water. So what is the process done here? The process is filtration. We call it as filtration. Children, now we are going to study about the separation techniques. How will you separate solute from solvent? So muddy water can be separated. The mud and water can be separated using a sieve, and which we call it as filtration, isn't it? So the technique is filtration. Now as I asked earlier, is it possible to separate salt from water? Definitely you can separate. Children, let me ask you a question. Have you observed your mother filling up water? How will she fill up water? How will she fill up water? She fills water in big vessels, right? Then have you observed what happens to the water? It will be allowed to rest for 1 day at least. The next day, when you see the water in that big vessel, have you observed something? Yes, big particles or sand particles, mud particles will settle down in the base of the vessel. Have you observed that? And clear water will be there on the top portion of the vessel. This process is called sedimentation. We call it as sedimentation. Sedimentation. What is sedimentation? That is allowing the liquid, that is water, to settle down. Any solution may be in that case. Allowing the solution to rest for some time. What happens? The heavy particles will settle down on the bottom and you will get clear solution. That process is called sedimentation. And we will do one more thing. How will you get clear water? Yes, without disturbing we will take water from the top portion of the vessel. വലിയ വലിയ പാത്രങ്ങൾ വെള്ളം പിടിച്ച് വെക്കും അല്ലേ, എന്നിട്ട് പിറ്റേ ദിവസം നോക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ മണ്ണൊക്കെ അടിഭാഗത്ത് സെറ്റിലായിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. അപ്പോൾ ആ പ്രോസസ്സ്, ആ റെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആ പ്രോസസ്സിനെ സെഡിമെൻറ്റേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയും. എന്നിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും, തെളിവെള്ളം എടുക്കും, മുകളിൽ നിന്ന് ഡിസ്റ്റർബ് ചെയ്യാണ്ട് തെളിഞ്ഞ വെള്ളം മാത്രം നമ്മൾ എടുക്കും അല്ലേ. ആ പ്രോസസ്സിന് എന്താ പറയുക, വി കോൾ ഇറ്റ് ആസ് decantation. Well, is this enough to get pure water? No. After that we will do filtration. അതിനുശേഷം നമ്മൾ ഫിൽട്രേഷൻ ചെയ്യും യൂസിങ് എ സീവ് ഓർ എന്തെങ്കിലും വേറെ ഫിൽട്രേഷൻ പ്രോസസ്സ് പലതും ഉണ്ടാവും. ബോയിൽ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഫിൽട്ടർ ചെയ്യാം. യു ക്യാൻ യൂസ് ക്ലോത്ത് ഓൾസോ ടു ഫിൽട്ടർ. പണ്ട് കാലത്തൊക്കെ തുണി വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് വെള്ളം ഫിൽട്ടർ ചെയ്തിരുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, ഇപ്പോൾ ഫിൽട്രേഷൻ പ്രോസസ്സ് പലതുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ വീട്ടിൽ ഫിൽറ്റേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടാവും, പ്യൂരിഫയേഴ്സ്, ഫിൽറ്റേഴ്സ്, അക്വാഷ്യൂറിൻ്റെ ഫിൽറ്റേഴ്സൊക്കെ ബ്രാൻഡ് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞു. പക്ഷേ അവിടെയും ഈ പ്രോസസ്സാണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ഫിൽട്രേഷൻ ടെക്നിക്സാണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So how will you get pure water out of muddy water? First you have to do sedimentation. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ let it rest for some time. So what happens? The heavy particles will settle down. After that you will do decantation. തെളിവെള്ളം മാത്രം എടുക്കുക, എന്നിട്ട് you filter it. So this is how you will get pure water from muddy water. So the question might be like this: how will you get pure water out of muddy water? അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ നമ്മൾ ഫിൽട്രേഷൻ മാത്രം എഴുതിയാൽ പോരാ. Only if you filter will you get pure water. Is it edible? Can you drink that water? No. So what should you do? First you have to sediment it. Sedimentation കഴിഞ്ഞ്, then after that you do decantation, then you will be doing filtration. So this is how we will get pure water out of muddy water. Decantation is a process of separating the clear liquid above after sedimentation of the components of the mixture. So look at the definition. After sedimentation we do decantation, and if you want more pure water you will be doing filtration or boiling. You have to either boil the water or you have to filter the water. So all these three techniques are linked together. Okay, sedimentation, decantation and filtration. If you do this for a muddy water, you can get pure water out of a muddy water. Okay, so is it clear, children, how to answer this question? How will you get pure water out of muddy water? So what are the techniques used here? First you should do sedimentation, decantation. After that you have to do filtration. Filtration is done in many other activities in our house. Chai ഉണ്ടാക്കുമ്പോൾ എന്താ ചെയ്യുക? You will add sugar and tea powder to boiled milk, and after that what happens? You will drink like that? No, it is not possible. Many particles will be there, tea particles will be there. So what will you usually do? You will filter it, then you will get good tea, right? The same we will do for coffee, not instant coffee, the other coffee. Okay, so filtration we do in our everyday activities, but to get pure water out of muddy water, all this process should be followed. Now there are some pictures given in your textbook. Look at the pictures: funnel, tea strainer, filter paper, cloth piece, bamboo basket. Now children, looking at these pictures, tell me, which materials did you select? Why did you select them? To get clear water. Okay, after decantation, is the water clear? The question is the water obtained after decantation clear? So what else we should do? Or you can use a filter paper also. Okay, cloth piece can be used, but it is an old technique. So you have to use either tea strainer or filter paper. I think filter paper will be more effective, isn't it? What is a filter paper? The same technique is used in purifiers, water purifiers, RO purifiers, aquasure purifiers are there at your home, no? They also use the same filter paper to filter the water. So which is the apt one here? Filter paper. So give a tick for the filter paper. The filter paper for water using a folded filter paper kept in funnel as shown in the figure. See, they are using a different technique. In the funnel, a filter paper is folded and kept, and in that if you filter the water, that is decanted water. ഡീകാൻറ്റേഷൻ ചെയ്ത് കിട്ടുന്ന വെള്ളത്തിനെ ഈ ഫണലിലൂടെ ഫിൽട്ടർ പേപ്പർ വെച്ച് പൊതിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്ന ഈ ഫണലിലൂടെ പാസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ യു വിൽ ഗെറ്റ് പ്യുവർ വാട്ടർ. ഓക്കെ, ആൻഡ് ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് ഹൗ ദ മദർ ഈസ് മേക്കിംഗ് പത്തിരി. ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് പിക്ചർ. So she is going to prepare pathiri. How will you prepare pathiri? First, mother passes the flour, that is rice flour, through the sieve. Arippa parayiniല്ല, അതിന് sieve എന്നാണ് പറയുക. So she first passes the flour through the sieve. Why does she do that? Usually for chapati making and parota making also mother does that, isn't it? ഗോതമ്പ് പൊടിയും മൈദ പൊടിയൊക്കെ ആദ്യം ഒന്ന് അരിച്ചെടുക്കും. എന്തിനാണ് അങ്ങനെ അരിച്ചെടുക്കുന്നത്? സോ ദാറ്റ് ദ bigger particles will be separated from the fine particles. We need only fine particles for cooking. For patiri making or chapati making or parota making, we need only fine particles. That is why mother is doing that. Okay, so what does the sieve do? It separates the bigger particles from the smaller particles. അല്ലേ? അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഫിൽട്രേഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സീവിങ്ങിലൂടെ, സീവിങ്, വാട്ട് ഈസ് സീവിങ്? ഈ സീവിങ്ങിലൂടെ, സോ ചിൽഡ്രൻ, ഈ സീവിങ്ങിലൂടെ what do we do usually? What happens in sieving? The bigger particles are separated from the smaller particles. Alle? That is what is happening here. So what is the property used for sieving? Difference in size of particles. അല്ലേ? പാർട്ടിക്കിൾസിൻ്റെ സൈസിൽ വ്യത്യാസം ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ടാണ് വി ആർ ഡൂയിങ് സീവിങ്. സോ ഇൻ സീവിങ്, because there is a difference in size of particles, we are able to get good results, right? So what is the property in sieving? Which property is used in sieving? Difference in size of the particles is used in sieving. Okay, so look at the next picture. See, a house construction is going on and a man is separating mud. You would have seen all this in construction site, right? ഒരാളിങ്ങനെ ഇരുന്ന് മണ്ണിങ്ങനെ അരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ടാവും. വൈ ഡു ദേ ഡു ദാറ്റ്? വി നീഡ് ഈ മണൽ തരികളുള്ളത് നമുക്ക് കൺസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ പർപ്പസിന് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാം. നമ്മൾ കല്ല് വെച്ചിട്ട് ആ സിമെൻറ്റ് പ്ലാസ്റ്റർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ബിൽഡിംഗ് മുകളിലേക്ക് പൊക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ കല്ല് വെച്ച് കെട്ടുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് വി നീഡ് പാർട്ടിക്കിൾസ്, മഡ് പാർട്ടിക്കിൾസ് ഓഫ് ബിഗർ സൈസ്. പക്ഷേ തേപ്പ് വരുമ്പോൾ ആഫ്റ്റർ കൺസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ വി പ്ലാസ്റ്റർ ഇറ്റ്, റൈറ്റ്? തേപ്പ് വരും. ആ തേപ്പ് സമയത്ത് വി നീഡ് ഫൈൻ പാർട്ടിക്കിൾസ് ഓഫ് മഡ്. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അവർ ആ ലേബറേഴ്സൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ സീവ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, സെപ്പറേറ്റ് ചെയ്തെടുക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ തരി മണൽ നമുക്ക് കെട്ടുപണിക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കും. നല്ല ഫൈൻ മണ്ണൽ നമ്മൾ എന്തിനാണ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുക? തേപ്പ് പർപ്പസിന് വേണ്ടി ഉപയോഗിക്കുകയാണ്. ദർ ഓൾസോ സീവിങ്, ഫോർ സീവിങ് ദ പ്രോപ്പർട്ടി യൂസ്ഡ് ഈസ് difference in size of the particles. The bigger particles are used for construction purpose and the fine small particles of mud are used for plastering. Okay, understood children? So what did we study in today's class? We studied separation techniques. The first technique was filtration. In that we studied what is sedimentation and decantation. In that we studied what is sieving also. Sieving, mainly sieving is done through one property. What is the property? Difference in size of the particles. Particles in the size il vyathyasam varumbo adu we can separate using the technique sieving. Okay children, you understood? We have a definition for filtration. Look into the textbook. Filtration is the process of separating the constituent particles of a mixture using a sieve. So idum sieving um filtration il pedunnathanu. So filtration, sieving comes under filtration also. So under filtration we have studied 3 more techniques: sieving, sedimentation and decantation. All these comes under filtration technique. So children, what did we study in today's class? We studied some interesting matters like how will you separate the particles in a solution. Okay, one is remaining. How will you separate salt from water? That we'll study in the next class. Okay, we studied how we will get pure water out of muddy water. Many techniques are there. Either you can do sedimentation. What happens in sedimentation? The bigger particles will settle down After that, the clear water is taken off, that we call it as decantation. Okay? This is in case of solutions. In case of solid particles, if the size of the particles differ, you can use either filtration technique or sieving. Sieving is usually done in our day-to-day activities. Everyday life we do that sieving. Okay? Sieving is done through the property. What is the property? Difference in size of the particles. Okay? Many separation techniques are there, children. We will study in coming classes. Take care. I hope you have understood the concept. Bye and take care.